So, good afternoon, student. So, we'll learn about today pulse oximeter, which I have already circulated the notes yesterday. Hope everyone has written down in your copy. Now we'll go to the explanation. Okay. So, pulse oximeter by the name itself. Okay, we can know like pulse. Everyone knows, right? We have already got. So oximeter, pulse oximeter, a device which measures your pulse and oxygen level in the body. Okay, by the name itself, it is saying like that. Pulse oximeter, pulse and oxygens. We are measuring with a device, with a non-invasive device in our body. Okay, so we'll go in details. Pulse oximeter used to measure oxygen saturation in the body, that is how much of the hemoglobin in the blood is carrying the oxygen. Okay, so you can check these pictures. Okay, this is non-invasive devices. There will be some probe. These are the probes. Okay, so we can attach in our finger and in other parts also, which we'll discuss in next slide. So we can use in both your baby and plus other adult persons also, right? And it is to measure oxygen saturation in the body, mane level of oxygen in our body, how much of the hemoglobin in the blood is carrying the oxygen. Hemoglobin is your red blood cell. Okay, it is RBC in our blood, which is available in the blood, which is carrying oxygen from your heart to the other parts of the body, right? Blood is only one medium which carries your nutrients, which carries the required oxygen in our body from one tissue to another tissue, from one cell to another cell, from major organs to the other periphery organs. So so it is very much necessary to check the hemoglobin level and plus the oxygen level in our blood to live a healthy life. Otherwise, if there is a decreased amount of oxygen in our body, so that might lead a maximum kind of complications, right? And plus hemoglobin also, it's very much important, because if our hemoglobin level goes down, that means what? Your body will not get adequate supply of oxygen, because hemoglobin is the one medium which carries your oxygen in your blood to your tissue, to your cell. A minute cell also, they need oxygen to live healthy, right? Yes. So I think you get some idea about the pulse oximeter. Yes, this is used to measure oxygen saturations in the body. That is how much hemoglobin in the blood is carrying the oxygen. It's indirect meaning. Okay, you can see the pictures in the below, right? Okay. So next will be the definition. It is a non-invasive device used to measure blood oxygen level and can also display heart rate. Yes, some other devices are there. They give the oxygen saturations your level also, and plus the display even the heart rate also. Okay, and it is a non-invasive device. Non-invasive device money. Invasive device means the device which is connected to the body through some your by doing some invasive, like we have to cut a part of our bodies. Suppose um, an abdominal surgery. Okay, abdomen surgery is an invasive procedures, because what the doctor surgeons are doing, they are cutting your layers. First they will cut the skin layers, then the tissue, then fat, then the muscle layer. They will cut each layer and they will reach to the abdomen to do the respective procedures. Okay, so those are the invasive. But here this is pulse oximeter, as you can see in the picture. Okay, this is yeah, we are attaching in our index finger. Okay, so we are not doing any kind of cutting marks in our finger, right? Externally we are putting it to measure the oxygen level and to display the heart rate. That is why it is stayed as a non-invasive, because we are not doing marks or any kind of dissections in our body. Okay, so and the below line, a pulse oximeter is a medical device that indirectly monitor the oxygen saturation of a patient's blood. Okay, so it is a medical device. In the ward, in the ICU, all the doctors and nurses, they are using to monitor the oxygen saturations of a patient blood. We'll check in details what is oxygen saturation. Okay, so now the oxygen saturation means oxygen enters the lung. Okay, oxygen enters the lung and then is passed on into the blood. So this is a huge process, and how the oxygen get involved in the blood will not go in details, because you have already learned in the cardiovascular system what happened in our body. Whatever the deoxygenated money the blood there, it will collect it with the help of it will collect heart, and from there it will go to the lungs and it will mix up with your oxygen which we are inhaling from the nature through our nose, right? So in the lungs, the deoxygenated blood of our body, it will get mixed up with oxygen, then again it will retransport back transport to the heart, and their arteries are the one who carries your oxygenated blood to the cell and the tissues and the organs. Those uh, all we those to function in a normal mode, right? So the blood carries the oxygen to the various organs in our body. So blood is the one medium. They are not they are carrying oxygen, but not only oxygen, all the nutrients, whatever the food products we are taking every day, every minute, it is get fractions to the very minimum minute your molecules, and and that will get dissolved in your blood, and they will supply to your each cell, they will supply to your each tissues, right? And the same thing for the oxygen also. So the main way oxygen is carried in our body is means of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the one RBC, red blood cell, which it is available in our blood has a various kind of your cells, right? WBC or VC. So hemoglobin is the one who is carrying your oxygen. Okay, this hemoglobin is responsible is to carry oxygen to the body. Okay, so that is called as a oxygen saturations, how they are maintaining. So normal oxygen saturations values are 97 to 99 percentage in a healthy individual on room air. Okay, so there is saturation level means how much oxygen is carrying um, in your blood. That is the meaning of your oxygen saturation. So the normal value, yeah, it has to be totally 100%. Yes, so yeah, it has to be totally 100%. Yes, in a healthy individual on a room air. Okay, when it goes down below 90%, then your 80%, sorry, when it goes below 90%, that means in the 80 house, then we have to support them with the oxygen levels. That is why it is very much important to monitor very frequently. But a normal human being, those human beings are not having any kind of diseases, any kind of problems, there is no record to check again and again. But the one who is having hospitalized in a hospital, get admitted in a hospital, those who are having any kind of problems related to your heart, related to your lungs, it is very much necessary to check the oxygen level very frequently with the help of this pulse oximeter, to check the oxygen saturations, because if it is goes down immediately, we have to support them with your oxygen and any other kind of medications. Okay, so here is the pictures. When you when you check the blood color, yes, this bluish blood means always you will remember that blood doesn't have oxygen at all. That is why if the oxygen is completely absent in your blood, that the color of the blood, it goes to the blue. Okay, and here have you seen this reddish color? Our normal blood is what? That is red in color, right? Because why? Because there is oxygen. The required amount of oxygen there in our blood. That is why its color is reddish. Okay, so you can check. And can you have you ever seen, like, when we got hit, when we got hit or when we got injured, uh, immediately sometimes when you got hit very strongly, immediately what happened, that area or that part get bluish color. Because why? And there is a lacking number of oxygen in the cells. Because what happened, the cells get die, and it dies because of oxygen, and that is why it is reflected in our skin with a bluish discoloration. So that is the meaning of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So next is the purpose of pulse oximetry. Pulse oximeter, the purpose where I think you got to catch about that. So it is measure the arterial oxygen saturations on hemoglobin. Why it is mentioning about the arterial oxygen supply? It's very easy, because artery are the one who is carrying your oxygenated blood from the heart to other peripheral area. Because veins are the one who will collect your deoxygenated blood from each part of your body to your heart, right? Yes. The next is to relieve sinuses by detecting hypoxia and severe respiratory failure. Here is a three new words for you. One is sinuses. Sinuses means, as I have already mentioned in the previous slide, the bluish discoloration of the skin because of lacking oxygen in the cell, or the necrosis means the death of a cell. If there is a necrosis, or there is a decreased amount of oxygen in our blood or the cell, then the skin become immediately bluish in color, and that condition is known as sinuses. Okay, so we can relieve the sinuses by detecting hypoxia. Hypoxia means it is a disease condition. It is a condition where oxygen supply will be very much lesser, and person will go to the with a very much lesser amount of oxygen. Okay, and severe respiratory failure. So by detecting hypoxia and severe respiratory failure, we can relieve sinuses with a immediate supply of oxygen. Okay, the next is pulse oximeter measures the oxygen saturation of hemoglobin in the arterial blood. Yes, and the pulse rate in beat per minute. Even the pulse rate, when we'll get attached, this is the attaching mode. When we'll attach the pulse oximeter in a finger or in a other body parts, which we'll discuss, then immediately they will show your oxygen saturations. So suppose patient oxygen saturation is 95%, that will immediately show in the screen. And the pulse rate of a patient, so suppose 72 beats per minute, that will immediately show in the screen. Okay, so this is the purpose of pulse oximetry. Okay, we'll see in about the next slide in the next video.